how you spell it. I'm from the University of Pretoria and I'm doing my master's degree in biology. Right. So today I'm going to tell you how awesome fungi are. They're fun, yeah? I'm talking about the fun in fungi. Okay, so we have a bit of an older crowd. I don't know if you still pack lunches for yourselves, but some of the school kids, do you still get lunch in? Yes, it's usually like a nice salmi, a bread with some nice stuff on. Yeah? Yeah? So how many have left your lunchbox in class for 3 days? Or your bag? It happens to all of us. It gets all moldy and green and hairy, it gets quite disgusting, right? So, all of us know Moldy. Yeah, we've met Moldy, he's been part of our lives. He makes bread all green and hairy and it's disgusting. But today I want to talk to you about another fungi called Ceratocystis albifundus, or for short, albi. Okay, so that's the organism I'm doing my master's degree on. So today we're going to have a journey with this little guy. So quickly, biology is the study of life and everything that is alive. So if you study humans, if you study animals or plants, you are doing biology. And every single living organism has what is called DNA. Can anyone tell me what DNA is? Come on, there's a prize. Have you ever heard of DNA? It's a genetic code. Okay, I'm gonna. Can you see? Okay. Yes. So DNA is a molecule inside all living organisms, and it's used to encode instructions for growth, development, reproduction, everything that a cell needs to be alive every single day. Okay, so that's I mean genetics specifically, but that's a field of biology. So why I really like fungi? Well, firstly, together with animals and plants, they are in the group called Eukarya. You want to say that with me? Eukarya. Okay, it's not that. But yeah, thanks. It's not that hard. So Eukarya is very far away from bacteria, which is way on the side of there. So I'm really interested in fungi because they're very closely related to us and animals, even closer to us than to plants. Okay, so I can kind of model anything that I see in the lab to mammals, to and the rest of the animal kingdom. Okay, fungi are also very beautiful. I mean, you see them all over the place, different colors, different forms. Look at the nice pink and purples and blues over there. They're really a very, very diverse group of organisms. And they're also very important. So they are mainly responsible for recycling dead animal and plant material back into the environment so that nature can reuse the molecules. So if it weren't for these guys, we'd all be knee-deep in dead things, and that would really suck. They also have really important relationships with plants. So some fungi grow on the roots of plants and help plants fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. And this makes the plants then more nutritious for us as animals to eat. And they're also very important in medicine. So 100 and something years ago, a guy called Sir Alexander Fleming noticed that the fungi he had in his lab he was working on got contaminated with bacteria. But the really interesting thing is that the bacteria only kind of grew on the edge of the petri dish. They didn't want to come close to his fungus. And he noticed that the fungus is producing something that repels bacteria. And that's where antibiotics comes from. Did you know that? And that's what we still use every day when we're sick. And then lastly, they are very important for cheese and bread and yogurt production, as well as beer and wine for the older people there at the back. So they're very important for the products that we like to eat and drink, and these products are also very important for some countries that export them and helps their economies grow. But some fungi are also bad. They really, I didn't want to put a picture of that there, but they cause really bad skin infections and ear infections and eye infections on your pets and on animals and wildlife. And they also cause athlete's foot, which is disgusting. Moving swiftly along. The most important damage they do is on plants and crops and plantations. They grow on the leaves, they grow on the roots, and they make rot, make the leaves fall off, and the plants can't take water or nutrients out of the soil, they can't photosynthesize, so they die. And these guys can cause a lot of damage. So my friend here, Albi, he's one of the bad guys, but he is fantastic to work with in a lab. I mean, he grows up in a few days. From a little spore droplets on a petri dish to an adult that takes maybe a week. He also has really, really quick generation time. So he produces a lot of babies very quickly. So I can have a lot of them in a very, very short amount of time. Not like if you work with plants and animals, you have to wait months or years for them to grow. He's also very, very low maintenance. So all of you have pets, yes, you know that pets are really high maintenance. You have to give them food and water every day, you have to entertain them, you have to take them for walks. It can be left, especially if you come home after work, after school, you don't want them, but then they're here. These guys are so low maintenance, you put them on their petri dish, you put them in the corner of the lab, and they just grow and thrive, and they love it. And then lastly, you don't get so attached to them. So if I need some DNA, because I have so many and it's easy to make so many of them, I can just kill them whenever I want. Okay? And I can use their DNA and I can study whatever I need to study at that particular point. Finally, what's awesome about algae is like he smells like banana. So who can tell me what a nice banana, sweet banana? Have you ever heard of spores? Who can tell me what spores are? Yeah, there's another. Okay, I'm gonna give this to you because you. So spore is like a seed. So plants have seeds. If you take a seed and you grow it elsewhere, you get an adult plant eventually. The spore is the same with the fungus. So the spore is like, like a little seed of the fungus. And these guys produce their spores in a little sticky mass called a spore drop. And because they smell so nice, so they attract insects to them. And as the insects come flying along, the spore drops stick on the underside of the insect's belly, and when the insect flies away again, there nicely, a whole lot of algae are distributed all over the place. Okay. So algae also have a really nice social structure. So when a mommy fungus and a daddy fungus come together and they love each other very much, you get a lot of baby fungi, yeah? What's interesting about this one is that it has a mommy and a daddy, or a male and a female, in a single individual. So you can have twice as many offspring from one population of albifundus than you would in one that needs both parents. Okay, so they can really make a lot of babies very, very quickly. So algae is from southern Africa, which make it a very appropriate fungus to study here. And it also attacks acacia trees, okay, not with an axe, but it goes to sit on them and grows on them and makes them rot, and then eventually the acacia trees die. It's these thorn trees you see outside all over the place. But they've also been found on Protea, which is a no, because Protea being our national flower and all that. But the most damage they cause is on plantations. So us South Africans plant black wattle, which is a type of acacia tree from Australia. And we use the wood and the bark derivatives for furniture, for paper, and all that. And it's really important economically. So that when one of these little guys get loose in a plantation, because they reproduce so quickly, you can not only see a lot of trees die very quickly, but there's also a lot of money that goes to waste, and income that us as South Africans don't get, and that the economy don't get. So the more we study these guys, the more we can know eventually how to handle a really big threat that can potentially come from them. So the more we study our enemy, the better we can be prepared. Okay, so I hope you see how fun fungi are. And because I'm such a fun guy, my science friends are going to give you some samples, only to the individuals sitting at the end over there and the end over here. So these samples can grow beautiful fungi if you leave them long enough, if you're not tempted. And then you're welcome to see for yourself what you can get after a week or two. Thanks, guys.